Hello and welcome back. My name is Jack B. And as always, thank you for viewing my video. Everyone is wondering what the next steps will be in Iran. Currently, the U.S. options in Iran are limited and high risk. There is a balance of military action, economic pressure, and diplomatic negotiation to be navigated. Whenever one is in combat, no matter what, there is always risk. The U.S. could target Iran's oil infrastructure, such as Karg Island, to choke Iranian revenue. They could launch direct airstrikes against power generating and distribution centers, target desalination plants, escalate strikes on Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and utilize special forces to seize key infrastructure. Use of special forces poses the highest risk to life. But considering where we are in this conflict, acquiring the enriched uranium before exiting Iran should be a foregone conclusion. The U.S. can utilize cyber tools to disrupt command and control systems, all communications, including energy and water management systems. We can provide technology, such as Starlink and VPNs, to support domestic protests and resume broadcasting to promote dissent. We should be planning how we can help the Iranian people after the conflict is over. The other question for today ought to be, should the U.S. go after and acquire all the uranium before exiting the conflict? I believe we cannot just turn around and walk away and leave that material in the hands of a government that preaches death to America. There are several items I wish to mention. For 47 years, Iran has attacked and killed American servicemen and civilians, as well as other Europeans and Israelis. They have no remorse for their actions. As a matter of fact, they rejoice in killing Americans. One of Iran's state-sanctioned slogans is, "Death to America." Generations of children have been indoctrinated with this idea. It has become a basic belief for them. Currently, Iran has no intentions of changing their minds. They will continue to look for ways to use terrorists to kill Americans. I would think most Americans would not want Iran to have easy access to intercontinental nuclear munitions. Second, we are at a point where we need to put aside all political positions. It doesn't matter if you are Republican or Democrat. We need to think like one union, Americans. For now, it doesn't matter how we got here. I am sick to death about hearing one elected party member blaming the other party for all the problems. Every time they open their mouths, it's the other party's fault, blah, blah, blah. They are all spineless and no one has any real plans. We can all debate the wisdom of hitting a hornet's nest with a stick, but once the nest is struck, we can't just stand there looking at the nest to see what happens next. We need to unite to get the U.S. out of Iran in a responsible, sane, and safe manner for today and tomorrow. There should be a clear plan with backups to accomplish the mission and the exit. I don't believe we should just pack up and walk away from Iran today, because Iran will still be able to continue doing tomorrow what they have done in the past. Nothing will have changed. All options with Iran from this point forward have dangers for Americans. Some decisions will result in dangers today for our service members. Other decisions will result in future dangers for the civilian populations in the way of continued terrorism. Currently, U.S. intelligence assessments suggest Iran retains approximately 50% of its one-way attack drones. Despite sustained strikes, Iran still holds a significant arsenal, with drones being easier to produce and harder to fully eliminate compared to missiles. Iran's usage of drones has dropped by 90% since the start of the war. But reports suggest that this is a strategic reduction in use rather than a total loss of capacity. Based on recent estimates, Iran is capable of producing approximately 400 Shahed-class kamikaze drones per day. Some estimates suggest Iran has a capacity to build upwards of 10,000 drones per month. As of April 2026, Saudi Arabia is operating its existing 1,200-kilometer east-west pipeline at full capacity. 7 million barrels per day are flowing to the Red Sea to bypass the Strait of Hormuz. Existing bypass pipelines can handle only a fraction of the total 20 million barrels a day of oil that typically flows through the strait. The Gulf states, particularly Saudi Arabia and the UAE, are accelerating plans to build more pipelines and expand existing ones to the Red Sea and Mediterranean Sea to bypass the Strait of Hormuz. Developing new pipeline networks is expensive, tens of billions of dollars, and will take time to complete. Land-based pipelines are vulnerable to drone and missile attacks, as demonstrated by previous incidents on Saudi infrastructure, but so are ships at sea. Another question is, are there any countries benefiting from the Iranian war? And of course, the answer is yes. There are several countries benefiting, all of which are adversaries of the U.S. First, the Strait of Hormuz is closed only to the U.S. and its allies. All other traffic is allowed to pass. Iran itself is still shipping oil. Iran is shipping oil at near pre-war capacities. This brings in revenues of approximately $139 million a day. They are also demanding tolls from other ships, charging $2 million per ship for passage. This business will generate $60 to $100 billion a year. Iran is generating enough cash to keep building drones, missiles, and rebuilding damaged infrastructure, including nuclear capabilities. Since Trump lifted sanctions off Russian oil, Russia is making significant money from oil exports, with revenue surging to its highest level since the 2022 Ukraine invasion, averaging roughly $760 million a day. As of March 2026, Russia's weekly earnings from seaborne crude exports hit $2.46 billion. All this increased revenue helps Russia finance the Ukraine war. On the other hand, Ukraine will continue to be brutalized by Russia and is severely impacted by the lack of munition support from the U.S. due to usage in Iran. China is the primary buyer of Iranian oil, which it is still receiving, and it is benefiting strategically from the diversion of U.S. military assets to the Middle East, allowing it to act with fewer restrictions. The CCP can run amok. As a note, NATO is a defensive organization. They did not participate in Korea, Vietnam, or Afghanistan. In summary, politicians should stop blaming each other. You are all at fault. Accept your blame and move on. We should do whatever it takes to ensure the safety of Americans for today and in the future. We know who the bad guys are. We should have plans to mitigate their ability to impact our way of life. The plans should be dynamic. They should identify and bypass choke points for our materials and goods. We should create an international oversight group to monitor and control the Straits of Hormuz. Well, these are my thoughts for today. And again, whether you agree or disagree, please verify the information presented. Thank you. And until next time, take care and be safe.
No, Kevin. Me na do it.
Ooh.